Welcome back. So today let us study how to create a user interface using Bootstrap. So you know the typical form elements that are used in designing a user interface in any web applications are text area, text input, checkboxes, radio buttons, submit, reset, list box, checkbox group, etc. So like this, there are n number of form control components. Let us demonstrate today the usage of different control components using Bootstrap. The first example would be using the text input. So here we have two labels by name and age. There are two text fields for entering name and entering age, and there is one submit component. So that means there are five components available for this specific program. To start with, so you have to define all the components within the opening and closing of a form tag. So here I have a form, role is form. That means when this page gets displayed on a web page, the interactions with respect to the forms are being used. And name of the form is form-group. Now I create a label by name using a method called as for. Okay. Next, I create a label where input type is equal to text. Class is equal to form control because this component belongs to form control. This is the inbuilt class. And ID is the name and placeholder enter name. You can see that you have written enter name. So when the web page gets opened, so by default, I want to have the text writing enter name. So then you can write the name whatever you want. Similarly, I create one more label, say each, okay, and and it also belongs to a form control class. ID is age, placeholder is enter age. So whatever you write in the placeholder, by default, it will be displayed in the text fields and close the division. Next, we are using a button. So when we are using a button, we use button type is equal to submit, class is equal to button default. So this is a inbuilt class which is used for a button. Then I have a name written on that. It's a button. Close the button tag. This is a simple form consisting of 5 components. Name and age are 2 labels. Enter name and enter age are 2 text fields, and you have one submit button. This is the demonstration of the text input. Next, we will see the checkbox. Illustration of checkbox. We have form, role is equal to form. We have a class called as form hyphen check. Okay, and we are creating here 3 checkboxes: option 1, option 2, and option 3. So form check hyphen label. So this is a label what you are giving it. So input type is equal to checkbox. Class is equal to form check input. So this is an inbuilt class, and value if you want you can give anything. Okay, so since I'm not doing any kind of validations, I don't give anything here. So I give an option 1. So I'm creating a first checkbox with the option 1. Similarly, I create second checkbox with the option 2. Similarly, I create another checkbox, the option 3. But here you see you have something called as disabled. That means it is not possible to check this specific checkbox. By default, it will be enabled, but if you don't want that option to be used by the users, then you can disable it. If at all you want to disable any checkbox, then you can use disable. Please remember when you are using checkboxes, so all the classes belong to form check label. Okay, the class is form check input when you are using the checkboxes. Similarly, we can have a button. This is the illustration of simple checkbox. And since there are 3 checkboxes, each component can have a division tag. This is the second example to showcase the uh, enabled checkbox and disabled checkbox. Default checkbox and disabled. This is the second example. Again, we have a form check label, okay, and form check input as a inbuilt class for this text. See, for each and every component, there are inbuilt classes available. Next is a text area. Okay. So in the text area, we have a form. We have class called a form group. The new example form control text area. Okay. So this is the name of the label which you are going to give. Say example text area. You can give any name in fact here. So text area is a tag, inbuilt tag. Class is equal to form control and ID. ID is what you give it here. So which is used to uniquely identify the value. Next, I am creating a text area of 5 rows. One row, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. You can give n number of text areas that you want, which depends upon the type of applications. And you close a text area here. So, but this inbuilt class is very important. You can see in the examples, you have an inbuilt tag and you have control which is binded together. So you have a class attribute, you have ID attribute, then you have a rows attribute. Close the text area. So as usual, you have a simple submit button. Next, we'll have radio buttons. Illustration of radio buttons. So here I have created 3 radio buttons. One is the default radio button, second default radio button, and third disabled radio button. So whenever you have such kind of a multiple options, so it is possible to enable and disable programmatically. So this is also available in HTML also and XHTML also. So here I have 3 radio buttons, 3 labels. Okay. So now we have the form, role is equal to form, class is form check for all button, for all radio buttons. This is the first radio button, this is the second radio button, and this is the third radio button. Okay. Now we have an attribute, class is form check input, type is radio, name is some example radius, you can give any name, and ID is equal to R1 and value is equal to option 1. Okay. And check is optional. So we have a class attribute, we have a type attribute, we have a name attribute, we have an ID attribute, you have a value attribute. 5 are the default attributes and checked is optional. So if you are using checked option, by default, this will be uh, selected. If you don't use this, then it will not be selected. So this example you can see in the second radio button. Similarly, for second radio button, you can see I have given value is equal to option 2. You have class, you have type, you have name, same name has to be given, ID is equal to ER2, and then value is equal to option 2. In the first radio button, I have given checked, it should be checked by default. In the second, it will not be checked. So there will be a provision to give the value. I mean provision to select that specific button. Third, again we have class, type, name, and ID, and value is equal to option 3, and it is disabled. That means it is not possible to select that one. Okay? And have a label for this. Disabled radio. This is the simple demonstration of radio button. Okay. More examples we can see in the next class. Also, we have demonstrated text input, text area, checkboxes, radio button, and ordinary button. Next, we see some text contextual colors. So we have a concept of what is called as text contextual colors. Depending upon the type of application and the requirement, we can use this specific class, but it has to be placed in the container. Other scripts that you're seeing are inbuilt APIs. So here there are 8 to 9 different contextual classes. You have text muted, text primary, text success, text info, text warning, text danger, text secondary, text dark, text body, text light, and text width. Each of these classes have a specific purpose. Okay. So here we have a class called as a container. We have a contextual color setting with H2, and you have a p tag with this syntax. Now you have text muted. The first one text muted. You can see the output. The text is muted here. So if you use primary to highlight something is very important in a web page, we can use text hyphen primary. If you want to show some kind of a success, as I told in the previous example, you have text underscore success. Okay, if you want to give some kind of an information, you can use text underscore info. So if you want to represent some information as a warning, you can use text underscore warning. Something if you want to display a red alert, you can use text underscore danger. Secondary text, which is not as important as primary text, you can put it in text primary. Okay, if you want to show something highlighted, you can show text hyphen dark and text light, text white. Okay, so you can see the output uh, with this. So this basically depends upon different types of requirements for a given application. So the takeaway from this classes, they may ask you to demonstrate some form components or write a bootstrap program to design a following user interface. That is one question. Second, illustrate the different contextual colors used in the web page with respect to a text. Okay, so these are the two questions that can be asked with respect to form. Either they can ask a program on specific component, or they may ask you to design a web application by using these components. Thank you.